Oh, shit.
If niggas not connected during the quarantine,
Yo,
just
bro,
stop.
come on, don't do that.
Nah, that's a lot of pressure, bro.
Don't do that. Some people are. Some people have that.
You can't do me like that, bro. Chloe, what's up,
You're
bitch?
shaming Peter? Damn.
You know I love you niggas.
I see a lot of y'all niggas with like the space right here.
Yeah,
I just want to like get some dew grow and just fill it in.
Everybody, welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Torian B.
And I am First Class Reg.
And we have some special guests in the building. We got my man Peter Perfect.
K-pop so good, people.
We got my man LaShawn.
What's up, Harlem's finest?
And Cleverly Chloe is always special, but you a regular. And Queen Ivana, what up?
Yeah.
Yo, so we had arguably the best versus battle experience this past Saturday. And
and then the worst.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. So let's talk about the first versus battle, which was Beanie Man, the king of dancehall versus Bounty Killer. Or as my phone autocorrects, it says Bounty Hunter. I'm gonna go first. I was pleasant. I'm not very I know of dancehall, I know of reggae, but I'm not a huge fan. It's not something I grew up on listening to. Like at parties, of course, you know that was the time to go grab a girl and dance with her. But politely ask a girl what she likes.
With consent.
With consent.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
like, excuse me, can I pull up?
Yeah. And
Now,
so
please have
never,
this dance.
I never just listened to it like on my iPod or anything like that. Well, I went through a Bob Marley phase, and then I am a fan of Movado, but that's like the extent. And like my mom playing Shabba back in the early '90s. But this definitely made me want to educate myself and learn more about the music, because I always felt like, all right, dancehall is just like when you want to like grind on a girl at a party, but no, like the music is fun, and it showed. The versus battle put on full display that dancehall music absolutely is a good time, and it brings people together, because I felt like we all watched as a family and truly enjoyed it. There were like no like weak moments where we were like, come on. Even when they played the Azalea Banks song and they just started going in on like an EDM track, I thought that was dope. Shout out to Harlem.
Yeah, that was crazy. Dude, like the Beanie Man face, he was like, whatever. This ain't what I asked for, but he still went off to that shit. I'll second that. Like my knowledge with dancehall music is kind of limited. I kind of got like immersed into the culture of it when just living where I live now, like living on Gun Hill. Like there's West Indians everywhere, and like you kind of just hear the music all over. And it's really, really big in New York. And like I said, like, I mean, I've said a million times, like being from the Midwest, it wasn't something that we were like privy to, like, because culture is very narrow over there. So like over here, I got a chance to like hear all types of different music, and dancehall being one of them. But this battle was like really dope for like multiple reasons, right? This is the first battle that we saw where both opponents were in the same space, and it wasn't even in the States. And the way they played off of each other to lead into their songs, and like just seeing them both in the same space, it made it that much more impactful. I think it definitely made it the biggest standout of Verzuz so far because of that alone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Mr. Dancehall like knowledge, but I have like a solid history, like, and seeing like, because Bounty and Beanie had beef back in the day in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So seeing them together and knowing that Digicel held the Wi-Fi down like flawlessly. Niggas played the Jamaican national anthem. The cops came. Like, this was the first time that I really missed outside. And I feel like we got the true Brooklyn like experience, like from top to bottom on IG. And the authenticity of it through IG, I know that was difficult, and somehow they pulled it off.
Facts. I mean, if anybody know anything about Digicel Connection, I was highly impressed on that alone.
Damn.
Like,
Damn.
Highly impressed. But I think that's a preview of like I think they should have ended it there, honestly. No verses should have came after that because you actually see that it rocks well when two people are there in one room. So the sound isn't compressed. I think that's the real issue, that once you see somebody by themselves, the audio's fine, and somebody joins it, and then the audio's now compressed. So you was able to get the full experience because both participants was in the room at the same time. And like he alluded to earlier, I remember I actually told my dad they battled, and my dad couldn't believe me because he was like, "Yo, they battled and nobody died." And I said,
What?
"Nah, nobody died because these guys really wanted to kill each other." Like, it was probably equivalent to, like, I don't know, like Biggie and Nas back then. Not Biggie and Nas, Biggie and Pop. And like for them to be on the same,
you're right. That's what
to be literally right next to each other to the point where like at any moment this shit could go left live.
And having fun.
And having fun, and they dancing to each other's music. It was like, yo, what am I watching right now? So the unity in that alone, it was great for West Indian culture. It was a proud moment for me. And I'm from East Flatbush, so it just felt like, yeah, I kind of felt like being outside too.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Jerk chicken there. Yeah, I'm from East Flatbush, so I had my jerk chicken with me. I just made sure I was right. I needed a shandy. It felt good. Like, it really felt good. It was kind of like Labor Day, you know, having like Eastern Parkway. It just was reminiscent of those times. That was a classic.
I've never experienced Labor Day Eastern Parkway.
Never?
No,
I like to stay on my break, so I be chilling.
Yeah, I stay away from it.
Oh my God, man.
You gotta understand, I'm a Harlem kid that was told his entire life to never go to Brooklyn.
We don't go to Brooklyn. Uptown, we don't go to Brooklyn.
See, I was uptown to go to Brooklyn.
And I can't front.
I was told the same thing about y'all. So I just went to Harlem this year. I mean, last year. I went to Dykeman for the first time for Chloe's going away party. So.
He was so uncomfortable.
They let you in.
Ladies, let's go. Let's say what's our part of the night. Let's go, ladies.
Well, you're gonna hate me because I actually didn't watch it because I was in the pool all day Saturday.
Oh, you was one of those people having a pool party?
Well, my pool is open, and then I went to my homeboy's crib who has a pool, so we were there. We were grilling at night, so my phone was like down. So, Vana issue.
Well, I fucking loved it. I enjoyed it. I actually pressured the guys on watching it on Zoom together. As many of us could fit without knocking the signal. Because a couple of FKB tried to join in and we weren't getting good quality. So some of us divided, we conquered. And only a couple of us stayed on. Some of it watched on the line. I was ready. I'm a Dominican chick. I'm a Caribbean girl. I have spent my whole life knowing dancehall, reggae, and all of that because it forefathered a lot of the music like playero and reggaeton and dembow and everything on our islands. Plus, I'm a New York girl. So I had the fucking time of my life. And it did make me miss outside. It made me miss my youth, too. Like, just bash dance and fucking crowded apartment parties and fucking just, like, doing real reckless shit, basically. Because it's also just, like, a nostalgia, walk down nostalgia. Like, you're, like, remembering every moment when you heard that. I will say, though, I think they were pandering a little bit to the Verzuz crowd, and they gave us a lot of, like, hip-hop collab joints that we didn't need.
Yeah.
Anybody that was there watching it, which I think also this is one of the first, like, heavy international Verzuz, because I know people, like, Canada, UK, everybody connects with dancehall, and everybody connects with hip hop, obviously. And dancehall is one of the forefathers to hip hop too.
Because Jamaicans are everywhere.
But I do think that this was a big, heavy, like, all of Jamaica was tuned in, and so then the rest of the islands are tuned in, and everybody was like at attention for this. So we didn't need so many little hip hop drops, but I'm thankful regardless. Yeah. I was watching them as men too, because like Beanie made little jokes about how he's a family man now when certain songs would play, and he kind of like would swerve the direction. Like he already knew the content was controversial. I think it was so fucking fun. And I also think that, I know we're going to get into Jagged Edge and 112 later, but if we're going to do verses, please just one a week. Like, I don't want more than one a week.
Yeah.
Even though we're in quarantine, we have other shit going on. I don't know. I think it takes away from the excitement. But yeah. That in a nutshell is how I felt about that versus. I think it was popping. It would have been dope if it was the last one. That would have ended on a really high note. But I think we got a long road ahead of us.
I wish it flipped. I wish they had 112 Jagged Edge on Friday and this on Monday.
And you can't do that on a Monday though. I feel like they knew everybody was gonna be mad hype, and then they
did it right
relatively early. So I feel like maybe
with the new 90-second time, the new 90-second rules, it's just horrible, man. It's and what would make it better is if the artist
killing me in that background right now.
Safari.
Oh, one more thing I want to say. Obviously, they were together on the island, and they could have chosen to maybe do it from their own homes. But I also love that it felt like a real sound clash. Like, that's one big thing on the felt very much like, we're going to do this. We're going to have fun. We're going to be here together. And it was fire.
That's a fact.
So, I guess the consensus is Beanie won?
Yeah.
I mean, in the midst of it, I didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
But when I went back to the playlist and I was going back and forth, I was like, "Oh my God, this is unfair." But in the midst of it, it was like, "Nah, fuck that. This for the music." Like this, people was like, "Yo, the culture won." Nah, this is really the one where we say, "Yo, the culture really won." Like this was a great escape from all the bullshit that we're going through. It made me think about the times we went to so many people's cribs that fucked up their sheetrock. But
with
they definitely got new fans too. Danny, I want to hear what I want to hear what Danny got to say because I know Danny's really passionate about dance.
All right. At first, it didn't make sense to me, the matchup. But it actually, I didn't get to see it live. I started off watching it live. The IG thing, it lags a lot for me, I guess, whenever I see it. But it gives me a headache watching it. So I've come to watch a lot of these after on YouTube, once it's already recorded. I think it was great. It was just good energy. Like Ivana said, growing up Caribbean in New York, especially before all the reggaeton, the playero and everything, reggae and dancehall and all this stuff was really important to our culture and how we started building off, branching off and starting, the separate movements. So to us, it's something I always grew up with my older siblings playing. Like when you're up when you shouldn't be and you're seeing all the adults partying, this is the music they were listening to in my household, besides the Spanish stuff. So I was really excited for this. I did not expect – I was surprised when they both were there. Like Ivana said, it really gave the sound clash vibe. And I think that was more something that was missing in the verses. Like I think that's what I've been looking for, the feeling of more of a sound clash when they describe these doing, and I haven't gotten that till this. And I think it's great, that we like Lau was saying about them just having their history and everything that came to it. It was just great for everybody in the end.
And the Mouth freestyle was amazing.
Oh yeah. And secondly, I think Bounty could have won if he made some better decisions. But I think Beanie only edged it because of Bounty's. Bounty could have played certain tracks, and it's like we said, they're adults now, they're grown men. So there's a lot of songs they didn't play that would have rang off a lot differently. But society is in a much more tolerant, different place where that music shouldn't, necessarily rock.
Okay.
Because even with that being said, right, somebody like hypothetically like Buju, he couldn't play Boom Bye Bye.
No.
But in a battle like that shit would have went.
Hold on, please. I just learned what that song was about.
Yeah, that shit would have set the place on fire, bro.
That song slaps differently.
Yeah, but in this time now, people like it's to the point where he made the announcement like, yo, I'm not gonna perform it, like I can't perform it. But that's like if that's a versus battle, he probably would say that's for the latter 18, 19, 20, because that's like an automatic win.
That's the wait till you see this.
Yeah.
I got something for you niggas.
Yeah.
I also say though, like another thing that I kind of loved about this versus in particular is that it also selfishly, a part of me kind of felt like this is probably one of the one and onlys that the outsiders of the culture that like to loom and peer in are not going to understand in the way that we do.
Yeah.
And that brings me some kind of joy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even the celebrities that was saying, "Yo, I want rice and peas and shit like that." That shit was corny to me.
Charlamagne said beans.
Yo, Carrie Hill said, you know what they were saying? It was an inside joke that we had in front of everybody.
Yeah. So it was embarrassing on that part, but I loved it, man. I loved it.
Yeah. So as you can see, I changed my background. We're gonna get into the versus battle that was 112 versus Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge versus 56.
Yeah, right. You know, he is Slim.
Slim versus the world.
I'm 1, and these are the 12s. You know, all of that. You know, so I enjoy both of them equal. Like I enjoy both of them equally, and it's funny because they're both from Atlanta, but because 112 was a bad boy group, they just had more New York flair to them. They seem more polished and more city.
Whereas, I'll tell you this, bro.
Tell me that. Tell me what.
This, you remember when I think you and I text on the side about this, like when the verses first start, when Diddy said, "Yo, JD's gonna need 2 people to beat me." This battle proved that for sure. Yeah, this battle proved that for sure, bro. Like I thought Diddy was
been having this argument for years, though. I've been saying this shit since 2012, since I got a Twitter. Jagged Edge is not ever touching 112.
Ever.
I had this debate with somebody named like, "You crazy? Jagged Edge got hits." I'm like, that's true. Jagged Edge has hits. 112 has hits. But Jagged Edge has deep cuts that you have to care about if you're a Jagged Edge fan. Whereas 112 has deep cuts that we all know, even if they weren't major singles, because they were just that good. And their features, they got a feature with like they're on a track with Biggie. Automatically, that's automatically.
Jagged Edge does too.
Multiple
after he died.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I don't understand why niggas keep bringing up Biggie duets like it's gonna help.
The Biggie duets.
I felt that way about the like, Nelly battle when Nelly played that shit. I was like, that don't count.
Yeah, we argued about that. Me and LA argued about that. Yeah,
that song's a great song though, but his verse on that song was not worth playing.
Don't you lie. Don't you lie because Biggie's on the trip. No.
Well, I missed this versus. I listened to the playlist this morning though, but I missed.
You didn't miss much. Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying that, and then I also kept hearing how terrible the quality was, and I just don't have the patience for it anymore.
Jagged Edge got
they have a whole kit. They have a kit that they send out to the artists, and artists choose not to use it.
Bro, and I don't understand how Instagram Live works. Instagram Live cannot handle tuning into multiple audio at the same time. If you talk, Instagram is going to pick up your sound. If you're letting audio play, it'll go back to audio. If you try to do both, it doesn't work. They were all very far away from whatever they were using. So you heard that though, you heard them closer and the music was further. So like every time the song went off and they started talking, they were dumb loud. But the moment they put the music on, you might as well just put in your iTunes.
Honestly, it's like the phone was. It's like we've been saying, they need to move this format. They need to move to a different platform.
These older groups and these older artists, I love them all because they're from my time, but they need younger people who are in tune with technology and social streaming to be in the room and help them set things up. And they need people in the comments to stop lying and talking about this sounds fire. So I saw fire emojis and I'm like, what are y'all listening to? Is it my Wi-Fi?
I'm learning how many artists have shitty Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Speaking of
the
Wi-Fi,
using dial-up? Somebody asked if they were playing the music off cassette tapes. I was like,
the free AOL disc, they was going off on niggas.
You know what it is too? A lot of these people live in the sticks now. A lot of these people got money and they left to the burbs, and you're not picking up the towers the way we're over here.
First of all, I don't think these niggas are living in the sticks. I think they're in very comfortable condos somewhere, but they're not in the sticks. Okay.
Well,
all the niggas live in Atlanta.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Facebook and Instagram strike a deal with one of these like phone companies like AT&T, like one of those to help those services, because they're blowing a huge opportunity. Because
I don't think and just to go off that point, I don't think Instagram and like Facebook or whatever, I don't think they see the value in these versus battles yet. So
I agree because look at it.
They're not really.
Facebook is doing live concerts this whole time. They're hitting every genre, and the sound quality has been amazing. I saw the Aventura shit the other day. And it's crazy how great they sound. They have the technology to do it. It's like you said, I don't think Facebook sees the exact value in it. I don't think Instagram is prepared to handle this many people tuning into one person's live. I think there's a lot of factors that they're not taking into consideration, that literally a switch to like a Twitch or some other platform could help a lot of this. Why not go back and talk to Teddy Riley again about his platform, maybe getting it there, because it sounded perfectly fine for him when he was on there by himself.
When it was just him,
I'm surprised YouTube ain't jumping this
but like just to keep going off that point, like I don't think they see the dollar value in this, and unfortunately, Verzuz has proven to be, and it's an urban thing right now. Like I feel like if they was to get a fucking Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, the sound quality and all of that shit will be solid and legit, and it will be everything we looking for. But unfortunately, they don't see the value in having Swiss Beats and Timbaland right now.
See, but also is that we gotta also take it like this. If let's say they do make the change and they do see the value, that means we're getting Verzuz with commercials, and that alone's taken away from
and advertisements and all
exactly.
that shit.
Maybe you gotta be in a house with good Wi-Fi. Like what the
That's
fuck?
all.
And learn how IG Live works.
Or use the kit.
But I'm saying, but
what's in the kit?
But to go off that though, Chloe, and LA, that's a good question. But to go off what Chloe was saying, it's that too. But also, I think Instagram needs to show support for something. Like this 90-second thing, what's the other shit? The time limit. The time limit thing, which sometimes is a factor and sometimes it isn't. Like,
the copyright infringement.
There's no stability in all of this shit. So I think they still need, like you said, like Wi-Fi at the end of the day is most important, and knowing how to use the technology is important, but also having the support of this app would be.
Well, that comes from Verzuz to put that point out there, because
but
the power to stop doing this on that platform.
That goes to what LA said too, though, because that goes to what LA said too, because I want to know what's in this kit. Because I saw that tweet yesterday, and I'm like, all right, well, y'all sent.
I also tweeted that when Nelly and Luda were doing it, because they were saying we sent Nelly the kit. Like obviously Luda used it and Nelly didn't, type of shit.
I'm very curious to know what's in that kit and like how it would help.
No one used it on yesterday.
Nobody has used that shit.
So. The next thing I want to go into is I saw a lot of people saying that Drew Hill, nobody wants to smoke with Drew Hill. Then some people said R. Kelly. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Jodeci. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry about that. They said that Jodeci versus Drew Hill would be a good one.
That would be good.
Should have been 112 and Drew Hill.
Shout out to Jameer. Jameer was like, they should do it on Father's Day since everybody wants to see the Jodeci battle their kids so bad.
Oh, ooh. I mean, I think it would be a good one, though. I think a lot of people sleep on what Drew Hill brings to the table with their hits. Because you also got to remember that Cisco's allowed to bring in his singles.
Well, you sleep on. Wait.
Very disrespectful.
I mean, they gonna get smoked, but don't sleep on them.
No, as an individual group. It's an individual group. I like Drew Hill, but against Jodeci, that's a long night. That's a long night. That's all I'm saying.
This was another one of those pair-ups where I feel like we want to see it, but we're going to get into it, and then we're going to feel era difference.
I don't know if that's that long of a night, honestly.
But see, with all these stipulations, right?
Because Drew Hill got some shit, bro.
Yeah, but can they go the distance?
Yes, they can. Whoa, Drew Hill's definitely going the distance.
With Jodeci?
Yes.
20 for 20, yes.
I don't know. I don't know. So when I say go the distance, right? We know that they can do 20 songs. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about like the counter punches. Can their big songs can potentially knock off Jodeci's big song?
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to go to distance.
Is that not allowed?
And that's another thing too. That's
then we're allowed to bring in Cisco.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. Time out. Because I want to say
I feel like Jodeci's gonna win though.
Because
I think Jodeci would win, but I think it's a lot closer than
when Slim's played So Fly. I didn't count that.
Yeah,
that's a solo Slim song.
Yeah,
that's not fair. So if
it's the jam though, it's the jam.
It is. It's the jam.
So Fly is my record. That's my record. But I didn't. I didn't count that. I didn't count that because it's like, yo, bro, if that's the case, then when these groups start doing that and Casey and JoJo comes with their shit, there's a whole different battle. Then you got Cisco Records.
Am I tripping if I feel like, because I myself said Jodeci and Drew Hill before, like, people were talking about it. That's something that came in my mind. But I'm also like, wouldn't we feel a lot of era difference there? Like, wouldn't there be like a time lapse in when Jodeci had original Big Fat?
I mean, Drew Hill is birthed from. It's cut from that cloth.
Yeah, I think because they're so obviously influenced by Jodeci,
right,
that it'd be a little bit more of a competition than we think because of
it's
that.
like trying to battle your grandpa.
Cisco and Casey going at it is what I wanted. I just want to see them outshowman one another.
Oh yeah, Cisco, because he's very much so active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Last time I made fun of him, he came at me, so I'm cool.
What did you say? Please tell us what happened.
Well, because it was when the black emojis first came out, and like they had the one black emoji that still had the blonde hair, and somebody was like, "Oh, Cisco got his own emoji," and he said something like, "Yeah, I did," and I was like, "This is you?" And he was like, "Problem." I was like, "Oh, sorry,
he came for you.
I want no smoke. I'm sorry."
All
Got
right.
it.
Baltimore.
It's time, y'all. It's time.
All
right.
It's time to unpack this recent episode.
I think we're getting it, Reg. Like I told you, we're gonna get individual episodes with everybody.
I think you're right, and that was a great lead in. A lot of key things in this episode that I really like. One, I really like that they gave Andrew some representation. With him even, him not speaking English, him being out of his element and, being out of the show's element, taking us out of LA, putting these LA-based characters in somewhere completely different that they're not used to. Seeing more of Molly, but still hating Molly because I still didn't like a lot of her decisions. Like a lot of the things that she was upset about just didn't sit right with me.
Like what? Let's hear it.
Well, one, the way she spoke to the assistant, that was crazy.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then Yvonne Orji actually tweeted out that GIF, and people was coming at her because she was like, "Yeah, every assistant this should go PSA to every assistant or something like that." And everybody was like,
into it. She knew that was in real
life? Like what's up? Because for people watching,
she's playing into it with the crowd.
Yeah, time out. On a professional level, she shouldn't have came out that way. But the assistant fucked up.
OD.
Yeah.
Assistant
3 hours before meeting, bro.
And she didn't.
This is the problem. Hold on, because I've had, as a woman, I feel like women are expected to sugarcoat and always be polite and say things a certain way. Had a man spoken like that to another man or another woman, there would have been no recourse, and I don't think the film would have been the same. Because I've had bosses. Me and Raven actually worked together with a boss who talked to us wild crazy, and we had to take it because that was our place, that was our job. Because in business, sometimes it's really not about feelings, it's about business. So you have to separate the business aside. She fucked up, she had to own it, it was valid. I don't mind her being an assertive boss in that way because she's just doing her job. And she can't do her job if the person hired is not doing their job also.
But the thing is, we're looking at that within a vacuum of all the other bullshit she's been doing.
Right.
But that's the thing. Molly is all
really good writing. I think that was really good writing to represent Molly and her inability to rein in her emotions. Because even she constantly talks about uplifting other women and women of color and yada, 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 and you're at an all-black agency, law firm, and you're so happy about that. So you could choose to deliver the same message in a different way, but that's Molly. Molly doesn't know how to fucking rein in her feelings, and she just...
But I think
sorry, I don't think she has to deliver it a certain way.
But
she doesn't have to. Her assistant fucked up. She let her assistant know she fucked up. It's business.
And then there's another much worse. How to deal with it. And there's another factor in it is that when she gets into that meeting room, they kind of look down on her. So she felt like, all right, I'm already at a disadvantage in these meetings. They already talk to her. They look at her crazy. She feels like she's in the all boys club in those briefings. So
no, she's not. There's a woman in that.
Yeah, but she don't really speak as much. And then the other attorney, the male attorney, gives her the cold shoulder a lot.
Torian.
So
yeah, Torian.
Oh yeah, Torian gives her the cold shoulder a lot. So she already feels like there's a little hostility there. So to be at a disadvantage you got the anxiety of a trip coming up, and then your personal life with your best friend, then your assistant fuck up, and then at work, it just felt like she was being overwhelmed. So I'm gonna shoot Molly some bail for that one.
I think that's the one place that she can control still right now. And if she's going to have control, she's going to make sure it's 100% effective. Since she can't control what else is happening with her and Issa, her relationship's going pretty well. But like her workplace, that's a place where she knows she should have control. And the fact that slipped up, I feel like it may have felt like she's being too distracted, and it's affected
also,
everything.
She's still adapting from going from a large company to a smaller company doing the same thing. And she also feels like at the other company, you know, she's still coming from being the black girl who was on point with everything, that their go-to person, and going to this company where she still has to fight from beginning to own her own. So she's still in a place where she feels she's earning her spot in a new company, and she needs it together. And I don't feel she was wrong in any way in that particular situation.
But let's look at that relationship that you said is going well. Is it really going well? You think it's really going well?
In her mind, it is, not from our perspective.
Yeah, because that's the only thing she got going for herself right
now. Yeah.
I don't think her relationship is going well.
That it's not going well.
Really?
No,
I was talking about her and Andrew.
Yeah, it's alright. It's okay.
It's going
I think it's just going.
She's going to ruin it. She's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
I told y'all.
Anything in the writing, they've showed us Andrew honestly has the patience of a fucking saint, and he's done nothing. But
is it that, or is he passive aggressive?
He's passive aggressive.
I don't think he's passive at all.
There's no aggression about him.
He definitely calls out what he doesn't like. He definitely will check her when he feels it necessary.
He doesn't.
He has slick one-liners.
Yeah. He'll give. Yeah.
He gives her a line at a time.
He doesn't stick the shit when it bothers him. Like for perfect example is that pool scene. Like when she kind of like
she was wild.
I
didn't like that.
She separated what she was saying about his culture. She completely separated him from what she was saying to his brother.
So let's go back to the pool scene. That was a really important scene.
Yeah.
Right.
And
when she goes to get the towel, and the little light-skinned Latina woman asks to see her key card, and she immediately gets upset and offended, like, what the fuck, I'm staying here. I was like, okay, Molly's wilding. Clearly you've never been to a hotel before, because because you're at the pool doesn't mean you're a guest of the resort.
Yeah.
The girl was literally doing her job. Now, just because she didn't ask the people before you, or you don't think she asked them because you don't know, you just walked up and they got towels, you don't know that. Everybody knows if you stay at a resort, the people and the workers get used to seeing you. By day 2, after they've asked you for your key card, they know who you are. We see you. Bitch, it was your first day at the pool.
Especially them all-inclusive joints, bro. They are really friendly. They don't play that, bro.
Right.
Yeah, LA
they know you. It's a real simple.
Oh my God.
Your key card? I don't have it. Her response, and the problem that we as Black people face, because once it becomes a Black issue, no one feels that they can say anything to you. But everything is not always a Black issue. And I'm a person minority. We've all experienced issues and issues, but the people that make everything a Black issue dilute when we actually have Black
the real issue.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that scene.
The whole thing of him saying, well, I'm not like that or whatever, and she was like, yeah, well, you're different. That should have been a conversation, and that's what
red flag.
That's what makes me happy, because that right there was the conversation. And then her calling Victor out on whatever she called him out on, I can't remember at the moment, but she didn't even know him. She didn't even know him to pin whatever she pinned on him.
Right. So, and my thing is, that's another minority. What are you talking about? Like, he's Asian.
But that's a good conversation to have, because you remember when Jordan Peele's not us, the one Get Out, and there was a one Asian dude around a bunch of white dudes doing the bidding. Having the Asian dude being able to switch between minorities and white culture, that's a good conversation to have. And the way it was written in it, without like throwing it in your face, I think that was dope.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a real and a valid conversation. Again, as I've said 1,000 times, everything that's wrong with Molly has a lot to do with her delivery, and it has a lot to do with how she acts and reacts to things. Because the brother was being a jerk. He wasn't really trying to understand her point of view, and he's not taking into account the fact that a lot of the Asian community they're a little bit more white adjacent in a lot of ways. Whether or not we want to get into the context of the conversation is a different story. He could have chosen to let it go. He wanted to keep beating the dead horse. But Molly also doesn't know how to pick and
She
choose.
doesn't know how to argue respectively.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to argue respectfully, which still blows my mind because I keep saying she's a fucking lawyer. Like, they literally wrote you as somebody who argues law and facts. So I don't understand how you can't bring across the message.
That's your
she could have
job.
said
But
all of the same things and instead had them see a compassionate point of view. And instead she made them the enemy. She took her anger out on everybody. And then she storms off and makes it a thing that now Andrew has to clean up.
But don't you think
that
makes
been
sense?
so pissed? Oh my God.
Because in a courtroom, she's used to arguing her point where she thinks she's right. She's not taught to argue objectively because in law, she's arguing to win. She's always so now she doesn't know how to stop that. She's always arguing to win.
I just did my court case this week too, so I'm very familiar with the law.
Oh God. I just think that it's crazy that you would when you would go on a vacation with your boyfriend and immediately get pissed off about something and not even try to leave it alone and kind of drop it for the sake of the group because you're with people. Like, I'm that person. I don't never want to make the group feel uncomfortable.
On a family vacation. Like, you are literally
the first time meeting them.
Listen, every first vacation for a couple has a hiccup. Everyone. This is where you going on vacation is a different level of knowing people. Even your friends. Going on vacation, there's friends I'll never go on vacation with ever again. I absolutely love them, but no way in hell am I going anywhere with them. Doing a vacation is stressful enough in itself. And then adding on the extra layer of it is an interracial relationship where there are certain conversations they're going to eventually have to have. This forced one of them sooner in a way that probably should have came off a little less aggressive, and they should have communicated more after. I think Molly is from what we've seen, this is the longest she's been in a relationship. She's still learning how to adapt in a relationship and be in a relationship and just give up to the fact that things aren't going to go exactly how she wants to plan. This is her with him was her finally letting go of her controlling issues and just trying to go with the flow. So she's trying to change. It comes off. It's just she's having a much longer, tougher process than, say, Issa. And I think a lot of times we don't give Molly that credit for the little bit of growth moment she does have, like when she reaches out to her therapist immediately. That's not Molly. That's Molly showing growth. It's just because we have Issa, who's a character who has leaps and bounds in her growth and constantly showing, and because we root for her, I think we tend to not see that Molly has shown growth in her own ways. And even though she's toxic to herself, she's trying.
Wait, can we bring something up that we skipped ahead of? Because it's actually the first opening scene in the show, but I think it's important, is where you get the POV of Molly being in the restaurant, knowing Issa's about to come inside. And you kind of get this sense when you see the ending of the episode.
We said she saw that.
Yeah. So you get the sense that for Issa, when you see it from Issa's point of view, it's kind of like, damn, I just had a really good day. I'm not about to fuck this up. But when you see it from Molly's point of view, she's already on some, here she come, bringing the drama type of energy. And then gets mad that Issa doesn't come inside.
It's crazy because someone mentioned on Twitter how she was like, Molly was like, Issa avoided me like a real job. When Issa had a whole real job for mad long and actually pulled off a really big event that you didn't even try to congratulate or support her in. And it was just like, why is it every chance you get to talk about your former best friend, you're shitting on her?
It just goes back. It goes back to what she said when they went to Tiffany's house. Well, what Issa said to Kelly about how Molly sees her when she was like she just sees me how she sees me. I think no matter what Issa does, she still sees her as messy Issa that she grew up with. Because Issa hasn't displayed any signs of messiness this whole season, really. She's been getting her shit together.
We about to see.
That's real impressive.
Well, you heard her being petty in the background with Nathan.
They're gonna break up.
And then you guys saw the preview for the next episode, right?
Yeah.
I never see the previews. I don't know.
Breakup season. Breakup season.
Yeah.
Who's breaking up?
Somebody posted a good theory.
But no. In the preview for the next episode, she when Lawrence was on the phone, it turns out obviously he was on the phone with Issa because they ended up at the bar together, and they're having a drink or whatever.
Well, somebody
was there.
Because Lawrence isn't interesting enough to have by himself. If he's not doing anything to Issa's life, we don't care.
He's fine as fuck. Stop hating. Who gives a fuck?
I can't front. I'm Team Lawrence, bro.
Look at the writing. I'm Team Lawrence,
bro.
but look at the writing. They haven't given him anything on his own, really, that we care about. unless somehow it connects.
But you know what's interesting? You know what's
Lawrence
interesting?
directed this
Somebody
episode.
sound like
Shout out to
Jagged
Jay
Edge
Ellis for directing.
Hold on, guys. Somebody's directing.
Directed that one.
You know what's
Okay.
interesting though? I feel like a Lawrence spinoff is coming.
I don't know why. I
I
didn't
think
watch
so
it think
too.
about himself. We already had the game. That was fine.
Let me tell you why. Because what season was it when he wasn't a part of it? Season 2, when he just
In the
wasn't a
beginning,
part
he
of
came
it?
Yeah.
5 episodes later.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
and social media ripped them apart for Lawrence not being there. Like it took him, so they had to bring him back. So I feel like
He
they
was
just
always
keep
coming
him-
back. Niggas just
Yeah,
don't
I
have
don't
them.
think- I don't think he was
Nah, I don't think he was.
Honey,
coming
they
back.
filmed these
was.
shows months in advance. It's already
Yeah.
written out. They didn't just rewrite the show.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
It's not a soap opera.
You not know how our television works? Are you crazy?
He was gonna come
Damn,
back.
Chloe.
Damn,
Damn.
for real, Chloe.
I don't give a fuck, nigga. It's TV.
All right.
God.
So
That's kind of how I feel about y'all saying Andrew's passive aggressive is 30 minutes. How's he supposed to sit down and have a dissertation with Molly? It's a 30-minute episode.
Right. He's not
Anyway,
passive
So,
Look, as a guy,
I saw a
He's
theory
taking
that
little
said
shots
that-
with one-liners. I'm letting you know.
I saw a
Yeah,
theory
taking
that
little pot shots.
they were saying that maybe Lawrence is meeting up with Issa to tell her that he finally got like that job in Silicon Valley that he's always wanted, and maybe he's talking to her about it. They spent 5 years of their life together. She knew how hard he was working for that. So maybe that's possible.
Or you got the
You know,
apple.
they're meeting as friends just to hang out.
I think he's gonna meet Condola.
But I think the issue that I think that might pop up is that now that Nathan's back in the picture, she's going to have the same situation that she had with Daniel.
Yep. But this time, it's not cheating. Congrats, Esau, I guess.
I still want to see what happens when the whole mental health situation with Nathan comes about and how Issa's going to react.
I like that they brought that up though.
I think
we said it. I think we
Andrew
said
had
it.
to reiterate that shit to Molly, like, well, he was
Right.
going through some shit. And when she had all those questions, he said, I don't fucking know. I don't ask him all of that.
But also, you're not gonna sit here and trash my nigga in front of me. Like, relax your mouth. Like, you could do that about your best friend, but I don't do that. Like, first of all, actually, he has some mental health things going on, and then she felt stupid. Right?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
But I think that's going to push her closer to Lawrence because she's going to be dealing with Nathan. And,
Issa?
He said Lawrence are not getting back together no time soon, guys. Let that dream.
No, but I think but going through the mental health, she's going to realize she probably can't deal with this nigga going through his mental health situation.
Why not? Give her some
And that's going to push him.
All that?
I don't think so.
I'm talking about
Well,
writing.
honestly, hold on a second. Also, let's not pretend that Lawrence wasn't depressed for like half of the 5 years. They just didn't put that label on it. But she's been down that road before.
But that's why I was going to say, I think that's why it's going to be an issue when it comes. I think she's not. I think she's gonna get turned off by it because I think she's come so far herself and is in the process of getting herself together that she doesn't need the extra mental reality that it's going to take up to deal with somebody who's going through their own mental issues when you're trying to clear up your own. And that's
I disagree. I think now because she's doing her self-care Sundays and she's been through like Ivana said, a relationship where she had a nigga who went through some shit, she can recognize it and she's actually gonna step up to this nigga like, actually, yo, like, listen, don't run away from me. I can actually like be a support like you were supportive to me. Because don't forget, Nathan helped her with her dream. Lawrence never did that, right? So she has a different type of affection and affliction for Nathan that resonates with her, that she has this kind of connection with him because he came to her in the timing of her life where she was ready to explore new shit. Like Issa's in a place, and again, remember, she wants to do a good deed, right? She's in this place where she wants to like help people and get them through. Nathan might be the person that she's going to be able to help.
That's not healthy though.
And he gave her that dope dick on the Coachella. Listen, y'all playing. That nigga's fine. She's not dropping.
She was on crack. Wait, she was on crack.
Okay.
And she was on crack.
Speaking of crack.
Facts. Molly sex is lit. Molly sex is lit.
And she was on crack.
So I've heard it's lit. So I've heard.
So you've heard.
All right. It's time for the black delegation to call.
One thing I wanted to say real quick. Shout out to the all Latin soundtrack.
Wi-Fi.
Who has the bad audio? Is that Danny?
Somebody's on their Teddy Riley right now. I can't take it.
I have 5 bars. It's not me.
That Wi-Fi is nuts right now. That's
too.
It's the audio.
Okay.
Not I.
Yeah.
It's not me either.
I'm good.
I'm using headphones. Maybe it's the headphones.
Might be the headphones.
Might be.
Yeah,
It might be possible. But
a little bit of feedback.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah. So I wanted to get
into
Voldemort died. Doja Cat situation because as we know, we found out that she was going on incel chats. She was allowing white supremacists in these chats to, you know, call her out her name, call her all kinds of things. And then it's surfaced that she's had like a bunch of interviews where she kind of said that she didn't like being African American. Well, no, being black. Her father's from South Africa, and a lot of people, you know, just not fucking with her right now. They feel like she hates herself, and we don't need to fuck with her. Like, she needs to be canceled. Like, there's a cancel Doja Cat hashtag and everything going on right now, and I just want to get everybody's thoughts on this whole fiasco. Like, she's come out and apologized, but I know some people they're not here for it. But I like to.
She belonged to the streets.
I think it's also interesting how like things like this always pop up as soon as somebody reaches a certain level of success. Yeah. Like, wasn't it the other week her and Nicki were both on the chart for #1 on Billboard, and then shortly after that there was a rumor that like Nicki's credits were removed from that, and then now this week like Doja is like problematic and it's time to cancel her. It's just really interesting how they try to get people out.
She didn't get #1.
Huh?
Beyonce was mad they didn't make it to #1 first.
First of all, watch your mouth and don't talk like that.
Don't come here with the conspiracy theories.
I will have Beehive under your fucking everywhere you're at. 2.5. I'm sad because I actually like Doja Cat, so I'm a little conflicted, to be honest. And I've been following her since like 2014, 2015, when she was just like a singer. Like, recently when she came out, I thought her new antics and persona were a lot for me, but I was still trying to support her because I like her music. But I liked her back when she was like an Amber Rose, like before we heard her speak. Then she started talking and she wouldn't shut the fuck up. And I was like, damn, you're kind of annoying. But I like your music and I know you're talented. So here I'm kind of like, I hope you're not, like, I hope you really weren't like this. But it's unfortunate. But you should pay the price if you were. I don't know, I'm conflicted. I'm just like,
fire, though.
How much of this is like really, really like all the way trying? Like, I haven't seen no footage of it. I just like one picture. But I'm just trying to figure out like the bottom of what the real truth is. There's so many different conversations happening.
So I did.
Okay, I have a question, right?
Wait, hold up, Julius. So like, I did see footage, everything like that. And
oh my God, Tori!
The footage that I saw. Well, yeah, there's that, and so the footage that I saw was like her and these tiny chat groups or whatever, and she was like dancing for some white boy named Wesley, and it irritated me. And then there was a Fader interview that she did a couple years ago that resurfaced, where they asked her like about like, you know, what she does or whatever, and she was like, oh, like, you know, in my downtime I like to go like in these chats, and you know, I'm not gonna reveal the chats because people dig them up and it gets crazy or whatever, but I like to go in these chats and kind of just, you know, just free up some time, and people used to be really mean in there, and I kind of found a way to kind of combat that, and to exist in the chat and just talk to them and just kind of express myself freely and whatever and do whatever. And it was interesting because it's like, well, now she's reached this level where she's at #1 and she's still going to these chats for, I guess, some type of validation. I don't know what it is that she's getting from there, but now it's like a fixture in her life, because literally after this shit came out, it came out that as recent as like last week, she was in one of these chats.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I don't know her thought process behind it. I watched her live yesterday. She still didn't really explain like why she goes there and what she's looking for in the chats.
Maybe she has a deprivation fetish.
I don't think that's
so, Danny. I do think so.
Can you ask your question before I put my 2 cents in, because you had a question?
Oh, never mind. This is better.
I don't think that's our business. I think that if she like, that's obviously something that like she just enjoys doing. It's just like if every celebrity's porn search history was leaked online.
Cool. A lot of them will be exposed for not liking women.
You know,
midget.
I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things where I think that, you know, obviously, like, it's upsetting that like she's going to these chats where it's like she's basically just listening to people call her nigger and things like that, right? And she's doing things for these people, but it's just like that's kind of like her private life. But I know when you're a celebrity, you don't have privacy, right? I'm just saying, I'm not as angry because it's not like she was like, you know what, I fucking hate Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, some shit like that, like, or her coming out saying, you know what, I thought that Martin Luther King speech was bullshit, or slavery never happened. Like, if they saying shit to her, and she's okay with it, and that's her fetish, then fuck it. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's how I take it. Like, she's
right. For me, like, I went to a white college, so seeing like Black or women of color do like stuff like that in undergrad and love being degraded by white men, it hurts my heart. Like, I do wish her the best, but this, and I was a fan of her. I enjoyed her antics. She was a fun person to like look to watch and just see. She was very colorful. It was just something fun. And just looking at her now, it just hurts because it's like you just enjoy degrading yourself. And me being, and like now being older and like not saying woke, but being more mindful of racism, this shit hurts. Like just seeing a woman of color.
Doesn't really.
No, not her, but just in general, woman of color loving to be degraded by white men.
She said she gets stepped on in different Martins.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanna.
That's a fetish.
Yeah.
I think she's just into I think she has her own issues with herself or whatever. That I think she's into deprivation. That's what it sounds like from everything I've seen.
Yes.
Like, and that's the whole thing that people are into. Like, you know, anyway, some people are just into a lot of, you know, weird ass kinky ass shit that you can't explain to anybody else. There's a whole fucking porn shit now. Fucking porn has incest shit everywhere you go. Click on porn. It's all so brother, weird. Sister, mother. So weird.
So weird.
His sister or whatever. These captions are crazy.
Crazy.
So outrageous. Like, I do think that they're and I get what Torian's saying. Like, if this is her sexual bag, if this is what gets her off and makes her feel okay, it's none of our business.
So, except she's in a live chat online.
Yeah, so here's how I feel real quick.
It's not like it's private, you know what I mean?
Ivana, I do want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, I feel a couple things. One, from the beginning of Doja being here, she's always given off a really troll type persona. So it wasn't a huge shock to me because I don't think she's ever taken it. She has never been like, oh, here's my political stance or here are my moral values. Like, that's actually completely off brand for what she does. So I think this is very on brand for the type of behavior and stuff that she exhibits out there. I don't think that she feels any one way strong about it. Like, she's such a troll and literally calls herself an e-girl to the point where, like, I could see how that's normal for her, being in these chat rooms and doing these experiences, and kind of like her version of the troll is like, oh, you guys can call me all these names, but I'm going to infiltrate the experience and make you love me type of shit. Yeah. So there's that. But there is also the other level to me of like, apart from all of that, they had a couple things like the song leak with Zinzu, which she had created and deleted from the internet. And Zinzu, like me and Julius were talking about, we didn't know it was a thing until the whole Doja Cat thing happened. And it turns out that it's a term particularly used for victims of police brutality or people who end up dying, usually Black men, end up dying at the hands of police brutality. And the lyrics of the song were basically from that perspective, and it was very stereotypical, like, oh, I'm a dude that smokes and I do this and I didn't do nothing and the blah, blah, blah. So there's that part in the closet that keeps tapping at the back of my head. I don't give a fuck about what kind of fetish she's into personally, or if she feels like getting a little extra change in the chats or whatever she was doing on the come up. To me, it's like what it actually says deep down, I guess, about like your character, your mental state, and what you think about yourself and as a person, as a woman, and then coming out and representing a lot of putting your Blackness first in a lot of your music and in your public persona, but having things lurking in the closet like that. And then it's also the attitude that she had about, I guess it wasn't an apology. She really came on there to drag, like, fuck y'all, mind your business, when she went on the IG Live thing. So I feel like
if y'all niggas had jobs, y'all wouldn't be worried about
I also think that, like Chloe brought up in the beginning, it is interesting. You hit a level of success, all the dirt comes out of the closet, then what, right? So my thing is more like, I don't think it's going to have her end up being canceled. We also know that she had Dr. Luke produce Say So. So I don't, like I said, I don't think she has moral standards on a lot of things. These are things that don't, I'm not saying she's amoral, but I don't think that she has like a strong stance on these things where she gives a fuck generally.
Yeah. I don't think we can look into her for the moral compass.
Yeah, I don't think so. I also feel like while a lot of it may bother me in some ways, I don't know that it's going to take away from me seeing her as an artist, because it's very much like when people show you who you are, believe them the first time. I think Maya Angelou said that. And like, Doja's kind of showed us from the beginning, I'm a troll, I'm an e-girl, I could give a fuck less. And this kind of is a part of her trolling. And maybe that's sad that I see it that way, but that's kind of how I see it. I think we're going to get over it in 15 minutes. She's going to drop some shit we're going to like. And then people have to make their own personal decisions on how they feel about her. But I do wish that she had, I don't know that I wish anything for Doja, because I really feel like she kind of told us who the fuck she is, and we're just gonna have to take the music for what it is and decide from there. So I have a lot of weird feelings about it that I think are on some personal other shit that don't, like, she's right, it doesn't fucking matter.
So do we?
It's just like every week they're trying to cancel somebody. Like some things going on every week. Everybody's home with time.
So do we separate the art
that he did in 2000?
Say it again.
Jimmy Fallon just had to apologize for wearing blackface in 2000.
Right. Like people just like they're home and they're just digging up things to be angry about. Like,
but wasn't Doja Cat on like the Tiny Chat like last week?
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's the problem. Honestly, these are the words that bothered me. Alt-right, incel type of community, that bothers me. Because those are people who genuinely flat out are going to be calling you nigga with the hard ER and do not give a fuck about you, your existence, and that is their entire persona. So that fucking bothers me. You are the company you keep. If you like hanging out with people like that, that's a flag to me. When we bring in the sex and everything else, I don't know. I feel like you could do that in the privacy of your own home too with your man, because you got a white boyfriend. Like, do your little slave play if that's what fucking gets you your rocks off.
Maybe he doesn't feel comfortable using the N-word.
But if you're gonna be on the internet in chat rooms like this as of last week, then you can't really be mad when the public drags it out though, because if you were there just a week ago, you don't really give a fuck if you're gonna get caught. Because the minute you started to blow up, you could have stopped doing all of that, and then we could have chalked it up to, that was a long time ago, I was in a dark place, I didn't know any better, I've learned more about myself. But now we're talking about what was your behavior as of last week. So that says something about you. So like there's a lot of gray area here it's just fucking weird. It's odd behavior.
Very weird.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So do we separate the art from the artist?
I mean, have we ever?
Yes, we have.
Has anybody ever? People who listen to R. Kelly, they make jokes about it.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. We don't.
Chris Brown?
Nobody does it. Yeah, like
why are we still bringing up Chris Brown?
Yeah, because you know Kobe fucking loves Chris Brown. She fucking
but it's true. How hard have they tried to cancel him and they won't? They can't. There's no such thing as cancel culture. Everybody gets called the fuck up.
But that's the separating art.
But that's a totally different argument. That's something he did a decade ago versus what this bitch is doing today. That's completely different.
But no, I'm not comparing.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm not comparing them to. I'm just saying.
So get this. So I think it's very different because it is within a week span. It's different, but I think I think people just pick their poison with what their threshold is for what they're willing to tolerate. So like with the Doja thing, it's like, all right, yeah, some people are like, no, I'm done with her. That's it. Some people still listen to R. Kelly. You know what I mean?
A lot of people still listen to R. Kelly.
And truthfully, like we all weren't on the same page with this R. Kelly shit until fairly recently, because niggas had the sex tape.
I think Doja is just new enough where people are like, I don't really know her like that. We don't really have any emotional ties invested to her. So they can talk to her. She could go.
But also, she was getting nasty for a bunch of niggas who are like Blue Lives Matter. So that's just a whole nother layer. It's like, yo, niggas is dying every day from the cops and you get nasty for niggas.
This is the literal community of people who go around thinking it's okay to be lynching and fucking taking down runners in their neighborhood. Like that's the part that I'm kind of like, what are we really doing though? Like, because don't also give me your pro-black spiel at the same time while you're keeping company with people like that. That fucking freaks me out.
Okay, so now
actually, get damn, Chloe left.
Oh, now
no, she did say, she said a lot about how she's always been proud to be a black woman and look at all my black friends and yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. Her whole team is black too, and I can't imagine what her managers and everybody else is fucking like feeling about whatever is going on too.
So now, do we allow her to grow?
Conversation.
I mean, she talks about being from South Africa and everything like that, but I know.
But see, she had to throw that in there because
she's also talked a lot about how she never had an opportunity to meet her father, who was from South Africa, and she was raised in a predominantly white suburban neighborhood with her white mother. So I'm not saying it doesn't make her any less black. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it's alarming and it's a red flag because you're not just hanging out with like your little crew of homies who maybe make a couple of unsavory jokes. You literally went out into an alt-right chat room in the depths of the deep internet to hang out with a bunch of people that you know would, if you were a couple shades darker and you were walking down the street with your man who was also a black man, would 100% run y'all down. Like, that's what they're
entire... couple shades darker, she's a nigga to them now, period. They know
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
So do we allow her to grow now?
I don't fucking know.
Interesting. Very good question, Julius.
What do you say?
Do we allow her to grow?
If the growth is genuine.
Grow into what?
Here's the thing.
To learn and to understand and be taught what the issue is. She got to go on Red Table Talk. That's it.
I look at it like this.
Step one.
You have. I'll do the flip side. You have some men that when they were younger, they might have disrespected women, not per se putting their hands on women, but what they had to say about women, right? But then, matter of fact, prime example, Jay-Z. There's a video of Jay-Z literally getting interviewed while women are finger fucking each other. And
well, he didn't do that.
There's Jay-Z has lyrics where he's talk crude lyrics where he's saying things about
Big
women
Pimpin'.
like that, right? And there's and I'm pretty sure there's stories out, but maybe he got ahead of them. But obviously, Jay-Z is now a family man. He's a father of 3. He's a businessman.
He's 50.
And he's 50 years old. And he's changed, right? We've allowed him to grow. Obviously, and he was lucky enough to not be in the age that we're in now, the social media.
Social media. Yep.
But I'm just saying, people are there's people that my mom who are the same age as Jay-Z that was that have things to say or have stories about when him and Dame was at clubs spilling champagne on girls, not even telling them, thinking it was funny. But now I'm pretty sure he would apologize and backtrack on that, right? So Julius asking that question, it kind of is do we allow her to grow, or do we look at it as different? Because I think respecting women is a big deal too. And at that time, you could say that he might have not respected women properly back then.
Well, you know what I think is interesting? Even in her apologies or whatever things that she said, she hasn't addressed that one big thing that we're talking about right now, which is the company in the alt-right rooms. She spoke about a lot of everything else.
That was the issue.
But she hasn't even addressed that. So yes, I believe in growth. And honestly, like I said, she's probably gonna drop a track that I'm gonna listen to or something. But growth is also for those who acknowledge what the fuck is going on. And she at no time in this apology tour has she actually said, I understand why people are upset.
She's coming
from a very combative place. She's coming from a mind your business while y'all digging in my closet.
She did, but she apologized and said
she apologized too, though. That's what I was trying to. That's what I was saying to y'all yesterday. There was 2 parts to it. She got kind of y'all are at home, y'all digging up shit. If you're an essential worker, blah blah blah. I heard that rant, but she also had I'm really sorry, and she had a sincere moment behind it too. So I saw both sides of that, but with the whole allowing people to grow, that's important because I said the same thing about Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar's 21, 22, and he said that dumb shit about Yes Jules or whatever. And it's being 21, 22 and having so much access to and not having a frame of mind to be well, let me just talk to my friends about this, instead of just hopping on Instagram and not understanding your impact and not knowing who you can reach so fast and just saying some dumb shit. That's prime example of 21, 22. Doja, what, 23, 24?
She's 24, so she's a little bit, it's still young 20s, still 20s.
Yeah, she's still young, yeah.
20s, so it's
new to this level of fame, right?
Yeah.
New to this level of success.
Very new, exactly. That's key. That's key because Doja's been grinding since 2014. So now, out of nowhere, she has a number 1. And she has all these eyes on her when she trying to get her little kinks off and go to these tiny chats like she was just doing a week ago. She don't.
Daniel is fucking that Ben and Jerry's up, bro.
She probably don't realize she can't. She can't do that shit no more.
What flavor is that, Daniel?
Peanut butter cup.
Yo, he been eating. So he always eating when we get in here. And I'm like, what is he eating now? Because Daniel food always is. But whenever I go to Torian's house and Daniel got food, he always got a fire ass plate. I'm like, yo, where you get that from? How many times I asked you? Every time.
All the
time. But yes, Reg, you're very true.
Yeah, like I think we could just allow her to grow. I mean, see what comes of it. But at the same time, I don't know where the growth stems from with her or what you would want from her.
Honestly, she got to start dancing at BET Awards.
You said she got to what?
Start dancing at BET Awards.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think our problem with I think our issue with Doja is that we as a Black community, once we embrace you, it's like, don't you dare embarrass us and don't you dare make us look crazy, look like liars. It's like, especially if you're gonna use all the benefits of our Black culture to capitalize off this, like you real thick out of nowhere. I didn't know you was always that thick, but I'm a hope it's not surgery, but that's what's up. But you know, our way of fashion, our way of hair, our way of makeup, if you're gonna dig into being Black and we accept you at that, the responsibility of what comes with that, you should be able to act accordingly. And the problem here is like, are you going to genuinely understand what you did wrong here and move forward in the way that we would want you to? Or are you just saying what you think we want to hear so that we can continue to support your music? Because don't make us look like a fool. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah. Okay. And this one, it just crossed my mind while I got everybody here. I just wanted to talk about like, so how do we with DJing on Instagram Live, right? A lot of DJs are getting shut down now because of copywriting issues.
Oh wait, right? Good. It's okay.
Dang.
I say good because I need niggas to take a break, right? And
I know
people are home, and I know people are bored. I know DJing is a big source of a lot of people's income. I get it, but my problem just comes when you're not. DJing is a craft. These are people's professions, right? And I just see niggas that DJ everybody, DJ this person. You don't got to DJ every night on live. If you're bored and that's what you want to do, you practicing, cool. But make it sort of entertaining into where you're actually feeding the masses something. Like there's a theme, maybe there's a genre. I just feel like it's just a constant like, look at me. Like pick up a book, go watch a documentary. Like figure out an artist that you haven't heard from in a long time and dig into that person's creation and make a creative night. It's just like, it's not just the DJs. Everybody going on live at every moment. I need you to go take a nap. Like, there's no reason for you to be on live at 7 a.m. There's no reason.
We're finding out a lot of DJs can't blend.
Tell me more. Like,
for real, like, we really, like, because you're in the club, niggas is, like, politicking and drinking. You're not
loud. Right.
You're not paying attention to a blend. I'm sitting here, I might be rolling up, eating dinner, whatever. I'm like, he can't blend. He just switched the song. He's just playing a playlist.
Yes.
You're not doing anything.
Shout out to DJ First Choice because he was on live today, and I've sent many people to his live, and his transitions were amazing today. Like he went from R&B to soca, back to reggae so smoothly it didn't even make sense. Everybody was just sitting there like, but you know what I mean? There's just a difference between people who are practicing their craft and people who are just online playing because they think it looks cool.
Okay. Niggas who are DJs and niggas just know who just have some turntables.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys checked out like how there's different entities like how Brunch Bounce who throws parties all the time? They every once a week they throw a lineup of DJs from all over the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, shout out to Irv. He's been in touch with that.
They've been keeping it very fresh with just reaching out to new styles of DJs each time, keeping it like 10 DJs, just give them an hour, let them go off. And and then you find it little pockets like even Uptown still has its little Twitch scene going on too with all the DJs and you are getting to see who actually can DJ now. Like when it's not all right, you're not going off the crowd. You can't just play a hype track to distract everybody. Let's see what you're doing. And a lot of DJs are shining, and a lot are like falling behind. Like you're like, all right, you're not as dope as I once thought you were.
Okay.
It's a skill.
It is a skill. All right. So I got my thoughts off on that one, right? And then, and I swear this is the last one, guys. Joe Rogan just got that crazy podcast situation with Spotify. $100 million for his entire library. And in September, his entire library will be available on Spotify. I believe Spotify now is going to be integrating videos. And I don't even think that speaks for what he's going to do going forward, because he's not an employee of Spotify. He's a partner basically, and he has that situation going on. Where do you guys think that's going to take podcasting with Joe Rogan, the podcast king, getting such a lucrative deal and situation?
It's going to get better. It's going to get more richer. It's going to be more money. There's going to be more advertisements and everything. I'm telling you, it's really going to go up. Like podcasting hasn't even reached its roof yet, and I'm excited about it, because once we get those more famous people, you know, imagine Obama getting a podcast.
He's in negotiation with Spotify since last year.
Yeah.
So like, that's coming soon.
Podcasting has not reached its plateau. Pretty soon, they'll probably
that like
podcasting in the White House.
It's crazy that like years ago, when we all of us have iPhones here, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
When we all got our iPhones, the podcast app has always been on our phones. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I remember
I had no clue.
When I first got my phone, I tried to delete it because I'm like, yo, this is taking up space.
Same.
Delete it. And I couldn't delete it. It was just part of the phone. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then like years later now, it's such an essential part of my life. It's just crazy where podcasting is going. I never saw it on this level. Like I never would have imagined. And it's only getting better. I mean, what did they disclose about his deal? So 100
million, and probably more. And it's for the library. So that doesn't even talk about what he's going to get for his new podcast that he's about to do. They just bought episodes that we've all probably, if you listen to every episodes that we've all probably already heard. So these old shit.
I just watched his new episode with Kevin Hart today. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. Even though Kevin Hart recycles his stories, like he told his Dave Chappelle story all over again, but I enjoyed it all the same.
Yeah, it was really
I think this also just speaks to the mind Joe Rogan has been like with the podcast, but he also negotiated deals like this for himself in the UFC. The man's just brilliant with how he does it. He gets to only go to the UFC events he wants to broadcast or he wants to speak on. He's very choosy. He only goes to the best fights. Like you only see him at the fights that everybody's going to be talking about. And then he just stays back and chills, and you don't see him doing anything else the rest of the year with UFC, but he makes sure he collects the check.
Everything about what Joe Rogan does is super unconventional. Like he records basically every day. No podcast does that.
I would love it.
All of his content is long form. Everybody shuns from that. Like everybody wants to hit like 40 minutes or maybe an hour. Joe Rogan will give you like a solid 2.5, 3 hours every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode.
And when you go to his YouTube, all of it has millions of views. All of his content has millions.
He's also his platform is so wide. Like he takes on every guest from everything. Like no bias in who he has on the show. Like all the way to
smartest thing. That's the smartest thing because you tap into everybody else's market. So what I tell that's why I tell like up and coming artists, collab with everybody because you can steal people's fans no matter what. Like if people listen and they like you, that's 3 new people that you got supporting you that are gonna tell 20. You know what I mean? Like you can't underestimate those new people. Like that's marketing 101.
I'm smoking loud with Elon Musk, yo. Like, come on, like.
Another thing I really like about his deal is that he was really clear on specifying the fact that they're not working for Spotify. Like they're just doing a deal with them, and it's gonna be the same. I think he works with like 4 people. It's gonna be him and like 4 people of his group that kind of just distribute through Spotify. So they're just gonna keep what they do, but it's just all going through Spotify. So they're not Spotify employees.
It's a leasing agreement.
Yeah.
So they're leasing the content exclusively for maybe 3. They're saying probably 3 to 5 years, which is amazing to collect.
He basically did what like Warner Brothers does with HBO or Showtime.
Facts,
Right.
He just gave them.
It's like syndication for podcasting, pretty much.
I just think I have a theory that, and I think it's like that now, but I think like record labels or like management companies like Rock Nation are going to try to work with podcasters and like represent them, because just like how we see like with the situation with the Call Me Daddy podcast, right? Where they're now falling out, but I bet you if they went in with like representation from the jump, the problems that they're having will probably be better understood. But like podcasters are kind of like they're working, they're working for themselves, so they kind of don't understand like legal stuff. And when they're going to these streaming platforms, they're kind of like losing like their leverage when they're going in there. Shut up, JR. So they're just losing their leverage with these things. And I just think that it's going to be really cool to see, because I think that we're going to see some like a podcaster like getting a rock chain or some shit like that because they're working with Rock Nation or something. Like
I think
we need that. We need it.
Yeah, I'm surprised Tidal hasn't dipped their toe into the podcasting realm. Yeah,
they have, but it's not. Tidal isn't set up in a way where it's something that you would want to put your platform on, because they put your episodes out like singles.
Yeah,
so it's not like formatted from episode 1 to wherever you left off at. It's episode 1 here, then you got to go to the next single, then you got to go to the next one. So they haven't worked that kink out yet.
Because the Rap Radar podcast is doing well, and I remember Angie Martinez had something.
Angie Martinez and Miss Info had a show on there.
Yeah,
and Fat Joe.
Yeah,
in general has a lot of work to do with formatting in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, me and Mena talk about this all the time. Like
they have work to do on that.
It's the worst.
I think what the biggest takeaway is for like podcasters is the patience, man, because you think about a deal like that he struck, but he's been podcasting for over 9 years now, over 1,000 episodes in.
But I don't think, but a key in that though, just to add to that, is that because I was watching this episode with Kevin Hart today. A key in that is he just wants to create. Like he was never looking for a deal. He was like, that was never his goal. And you could imagine, just like you said, like over 1,000 episodes, I'm sure multiple people have tried to close deals with Joe Rogan, and he said no. So like I think there had to be something really right about this deal, and that's another thing that
100 million
don't know. Yeah, I mean, 100 million though. Besides 100 million, because if we're just looking at it from face value, he probably could have got more than that. But there's something else that's sweet about this deal that we just don't know yet.
I'm sorry. So, the other thing is that it's only for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
years.
And I think Spotify is introducing like the video format through Joe Rogan because they also secured his YouTube deal. His YouTube video. So his videos will be exclusively on Spotify too, which is a huge thing.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, so it's not just the audio; they're capturing the visual aspect of it too, which is a new world for Spotify. Because now you can visually, like, how do you even upload that on Spotify?
Yeah, I think it's great, and I was really like intrigued by it. Like when they were talking about it on the Joe Budden podcast, breaking it down, I was listening to it, and then I went and read up about it, and I was like, yo, this is.
I forgot that still comes on.
This is great. It's great.
Yeah, that's interesting for them too, because as even though we see Joe Rogan making that deal, Joe Budden is the #1 podcast on that network. So it's like, this guy just got 100 million. We prove, our numbers prove that we were #1 prior to him coming here. I would love to see what they negotiate, so like podcasters can get an idea of how these negotiations work. What are we working on? And this is something that I'm going to pay attention to, because this is somewhere where I want to be as well.
Black podcasters. I care about how Black podcasters are going to be compensated, because Black podcasts, despite contrary to popular opinion, do very well on iTunes and in streaming numbers as well. So I'd like to see how that works out.
Bill keeps mentioning something about July. So something is coming from him in July. So we'll see. No, like on his show.
Yeah. He said he won't be able to talk till July.
Yeah, so July, something's coming down.
I'm not gonna lie, since I left New York, it's been hard for me to like divulge into podcasts like on purpose, because I don't have a commute like I used to. Like that's all I did was like be on the train, podcast. Now I have no commute, so I have to like actively like remember to play something and put it on, because I'm just.
I'm in the car listening to podcasts. I don't even listen to music.
I stopped listening to music for a little bit.
So hard right now.
Wasn't in the mood.
I listen to podcasts when I play 2K on Madden.
Well, see, that's nigga time. Like,
yeah, but I listen when I play Call of Duty.
Yeah. And see, I'm more of a film and like television person. I'm like big into film, so for me, it's like transit was my podcast time, and that's been eliminated. So I have to figure out how to work it back in.
Chloe, maybe you want to join us tomorrow. We're watching Love Jones with Juliet.
Oh, the best worst romance comedy ever.
Yo,
Best worst.
It was trash. It was trash and toxic.
It was trash in a beautiful way.
I don't know if it was beautiful. She's the one who taught me actually that you need to suck your man's dick when he walks in the house first thing. That's what I learned from Love.
Wow. I think that I'll say this: the beautiful thing about it is that it's an all-black cast, and you don't know, like they're not in poverty, like they're all like doing well, like they're all successful black people in the film, and that's what I like, and that's the same thing I like about Boomerang. There's like no poverty or somebody talking about the man keeping them down, like everybody.
It was just a black group of friends. This was just a black people. Let me know when we do the Wood too.
I know. I want to do the Wood too.
We do the Wood. I'm down for the Wood.
Hey yo, I am here for that.
That's one of my favorite movies ever.
The Wood is annoying.
What?
Oh, LA.
The Wood is annoying.
LA, did you see?
The Wood is annoying?
Yes.
Julius, get the fuck out. Like, I'm really questioning your black card. Like,
it's an okay movie.
It's an okay movie?
What's an okay?
Are you smoking crack?
The Wood is okay?
The Wood is okay?
It's a classic.
The Wood is one of my favorites.
It's okay to be.
No, The Wood is, first of all, The Wood is fucking hilarious.